Hello, today we're going to talk about a mysterious topic in PCOS, Lean PCOS diets. I'm going to go over 4 key areas that you should focus on if you don't need to lose weight but are trying to improve your PCOS. And all 4 of these tips also apply to those of us who would like to lose some weight and have PCOS. So stay tuned. If you're not a lean sister, this is still valuable information. If you're looking for weight loss information, click up here for this video that I'm going to link to up here above. And don't forget to subscribe because I talk all things PCOS and I take the focus off just losing weight and put the focus back on living your best life and feeling awesome, which are 2 totally different things in a lot of cases, especially if you're already a lean or average weight Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome patient. So without further ado, let's get into the 4 key areas that if you are a lean or average weight sister, you should be focusing on. They are getting enough nutrients to maintain your weight, insulin resistance and managing insulin, managing your inflammation, and promoting gut health. Okay, so those are the 4 key areas. We're going to talk about why they're important, and I'm also going to give you action steps in each key area that you can do right now, that you can implement into your life. So number 1, eat enough nutrients to maintain your weight. Some of you, particularly if you have trouble not losing weight, this could be a struggle for you. So if you are not eating enough calories to maintain a healthy weight, it sends a message to your brain, an area called the hypothalamus, and that downregulates your sex hormones, starting with your hormone GnRH, which is kind of a master hormone for all of your ovulatory hormones. And basically, when you're not eating enough, it sends a message to say, stop ovulating. Now's not a good time to get pregnant. We don't have enough food. And this is a state called hypothalamic amenorrhea, which means that maybe your PCOS has been brought on by not consuming enough food to support your weight or your activity level if you're an advanced athlete. So you're going to want to make sure that you are paying attention to your hunger cues. If you're suppressing your hunger, maybe because of anxiety or some other issue, you might need to tap back in and do some sort of meditation or mindfulness practice to really figure out if maybe you're not eating enough to satisfy your hunger. Calorie calculators and food diaries can give you some insights, but there's a significant margin of error there. So you also want to work on just knowing internally when you feel hungry and when you feel full. And if you're just someone that feels full very quickly, there are some people like that out there. A really useful tool could be to incorporate a super shake or a smoothie into your daily routine, maybe as a snack. So not as a real meal replacement, but as a snack. So something to boost up your caloric intake. And what I like about smoothies is that they're easy to drink. They're not as filling, but you can pack in a lot of nutrients. And what I want to see in a smoothie for a lean sister or anybody with polycystic ovarian syndrome is some healthy fats. So you can get that through like a nut butter or a chia seed or hemp seed blended in. A protein source, preferably one that is vegan or made from collagen or beef isolate. I'll put the link up here. I prefer that you avoid whey isolate and whey protein powders, and that video will explain why. And soy-based powders as well, avoiding them. So you're gonna have your healthy fat, your protein, some fiber, so you're going to get that through fruits and vegetables that you mix into your smoothie. I love to add berries into smoothies. A little bit of banana is good too because of the texture and the sweetness. And then of course you're going to want to add a liquid, and usually a calorie-free liquid is better than like a sugary liquid like a sweetened almond milk or juice. That's not such a great idea because even if you have lean PCOS, and we'll get into this, you want to avoid refined sugars in your diet. Okay, so pay attention to your hunger cues. Maybe use a calorie counting app for a while to make sure that you're getting enough nutrients. And if you need more, try the super shake. All right, let's move on to managing your insulin. Now, I know your physician or someone or somewhere you've read has said that if you have lean PCOS, you're not insulin resistant. And that may or may not be true. According to Dr. McCulloch's lecture on lean PCOS, up to about 75% of women who are lean and have PCOS still struggle with insulin resistance or having too much insulin. And this might present itself in a different way. A lot of times with lean PCOS, after you eat, a woman will produce more insulin than is necessary. And so that tends to bring the blood sugar down very quickly. And what you might actually find is 1.5 to 2 hours after a meal, you feel hungry again, or kind of like you're crashing out, even though you felt like you ate enough a couple hours before. And that's called reactive hypoglycemia. And that's because for whatever reason, sisters are hardwired to produce more insulin after certain meals, and it causes this crash. Okay, so if you are interested in getting tested to see if you have an insulin problem, that's very difficult to do with blood labs, but the best test for you would most likely be a 2-hour glucose tolerance test with insulin levels. That's a pretty involved test, and you may or may not need it, so talk it over with your physician. What I tend to advise is just, if you have PCOS, you should eat as if you have insulin issues, because even if you don't, eating this way is a healthy way to eat, so it's not going to set you back in any way. So what you want to do to manage that reactive hypoglycemia is first eat balanced meals. Now, I talk about this a lot with my download, the PCOS plate. If you look in the description below, there will be a link to where you can get my free downloadable PCOS plate guide that breaks this all down in detail and even gives you some recipes and meal tips. But picture a plate. You want half of your plate covered in vegetables, and you want to mix up the colors as much as you can. Some days green, orange, a mix of colors on that half of your plate. 1/4 of your plate you want to be a protein source. And then the bottom corner of that plate you want to be a healthy, high fiber or low glycemic starch carbohydrate. And though the best sources of those are your fruits, your roots, so we're talking root vegetables like potatoes and sweet potatoes, baked, not fried, or intact grains. So those are your whole grains that you've just boiled and put on your plate, like some quinoa or some wild rice. Those are going to be the most satiating and insulin stabilizing carbohydrate to incorporate into your meal. And carbs are not bad for PCOS. It's just eating the wrong types, too much of the wrong types, or not eating enough or eating too much is going to throw your insulin levels off. So this PCOS plate model that I've come up with is just a really simple, get it done, quick way to make sure that you're eating a balanced meal. You also may want to consider eating more of your calories earlier in the day. I will link to the study below. I'll give you the cited research, but there was a study done on lean sisters where they had them eat most of their calories at breakfast, like almost 50% of their calories, like 900 calories. So that's a pretty extreme example, but more of their calories earlier in the day and then less at every meal going forward. And what the research found is that 56% of the study participants decreased their insulin resistance, and 50% decreased their testosterone, and 50% resumed ovulation. So, and this was done in lean sisters. So this is a very specific study to y'all. And so I think that is worth exploring. So if you have a 12-hour window where you're eating, and then you have your last meal a few hours, and you go to bed for at least 8 hours, I hope. You have 12 hours. Maybe try bulking up that breakfast and having a more substantial lunch and still having a good sized dinner, but kind of pulling it back. I know that most of us socially and just we're conditioned to have these really big dinners and eat lighter in the beginning of the day. And that may not be beneficial for lean sisters. All right, key area number 3 is inflammation. So there is a tendency for all people with PCOS to have more systemic inflammation. And what you can do with your nutrition to modify that is adopt a low inflammation diet. And that is going to look very similar to, again, what I have laid out in the PCOS plate guide. But here are sort of more specific tips or actions you can take to lower your inflammation with food. So number one is to eat more healthy fats because they decrease systemic inflammation, in particular omega-3s. So getting that from wild caught fish or omega-3 eggs is a good example. You may, if you're a vegan or vegetarian, I would think about taking an omega supplement, particularly algae oil or fish oil if you're comfortable with that. And actually I would recommend fish oil for non-vegetarians as well. I think there's a wide range of reasons why fish oil could be a good idea for those of us with PCOS. The next thing is to decrease your inflammatory fat sources. So those are primarily hydrogenated oils and vegetable oils. So corn oil, processed vegetable oils. You want to avoid cooking with them. Swap them out for other oils like avocado oil. And you also, when you're eating prepared or packaged foods, if you can flip over the label and if it says hydrogenated oil, you probably want to think twice about eating that very frequently in your diet because that is a pro-inflammatory fat. Also, you can limit your amount of red meat, which is an inflammatory protein source, and increase your consumption of other protein sources like legumes and lentils and of course turkey and chicken and fish, especially that salmon because it has those omega-3s you were talking about. And then looking at your carbohydrate sources. Now this isn't about cutting carbs, ladies. This is about making sure that you're eating high quality carbohydrates. So again, that's fruits, intact grains, and a little bit less of the processed foods. So your baked goods, your breads bought at the grocery store, refined pastas. Those are the kind of things that you want to eat less of and eat more of the fruits, and intact grains. And then pay attention to food sensitivities. There is no research saying that there are particular food sensitivities that are associated with PCOS. Let me be clear. There is no one-size-fits-all elimination or food sensitivity issue that covers every person with PCOS. However, if you are eating foods that you are sensitive to as an individual, it's going to raise your inflammatory markers, and that is going to in turn make PCOS just that much more difficult for you to manage. So you may, if you think you have some digestive issues, want to try an elimination diet. You can look them up online. There's plenty of them to see if there's any foods that set you off, or you might already know what those foods are and you need to back off of them, sister, so that you can get that inflammation level down. Okay, let's move on to the fourth and final, gut health. So your gut, your intestines, how you remove waste from your body is also how you eliminate excess hormones in your body, sex hormones like estrogen. So if your gut isn't healthy, that could be contributing to wonky hormones. So again, we're going to go back to choosing healthy fibrous carbohydrates, lots of veggies, in a diverse amount of fruits and veggies. So don't always eat the same things. Try to switch it up every week. That'll help promote a healthy gut microbiome, along with giving you that fiber. Fiber is actually a key part of the Lean PCOS diet, not only because it'll help with insulin, it will also decrease your inflammation, and it'll improve gut health, which could in turn help with your hormones. So getting a wide variety of different kinds of plant fibers in your diet by switching it up, even something as simple as like 1 week eating spinach salads and the next week eating romaine, can make a difference. And so you want to make sure that you're getting in the fibers from good plant-based carbohydrate sources. And then also try to aim for 20 to 30 grams of fiber a day. And I don't want you getting that all from like fiber added refined food products. It's okay if you want to take a fiber supplement, but just like going out and like buy one of those high fiber cereals to hit that 20 or 30 grams a day isn't the goal here. Remember, we want diverse sources because different types of fibers do different types of things to make your gut healthy and help you eliminate various hormones and detox, so to speak. So diverse fibers, fiber 20 or 30 grams a day for gut health. Drinking plenty of water is also important for gut health. And taking a good probiotic is an excellent idea just to maintain general gut health. And I'll put a link to my Amazon storefront. I try to keep some recommended supplements and probiotics up there so that you can just click and buy real easily. Okay, so if you have lean PCOS, here's what matters. You need to eat enough to maintain your weight. You need to eat in such a way that your meals are balanced and that you're managing insulin resistance. Whether or not you have been formally diagnosed with it, it is critical that you address this issue now so that you don't develop insulin resistance, or at least you stop experiencing reactive hypoglycemia. You should eat to manage your inflammation. So inflammatory markers, that may mean taking some time to eliminate some foods that you personally are sensitive to. That also means eating, again, that balanced PCOS plate diet most of the time. And then also to support your gut health, again, by eating that PCOS plate, possibly adding in a probiotic and looking to see how much fiber you're getting. So if you have any questions, please leave them below in the comments and I will do my very best to answer them for you. I know that you lean sisters feel like you're left out of the conversation, but you're not left out of the conversation here. Hit subscribe if you want to learn more about how to manage your PCOS and feel awesome, even if you don't need to or want to lose weight, because weight loss isn't the only avenue for managing PCOS. So hit subscribe, hit like, show me some love, and leave your comments and questions below.